Hi there, I'm Alex from the Southern Ukulele Store, and I'm here this morning to talk one more time about Kanile'a ukuleles, one of my favourite ukulele brands in the world, a brand that I've worked with on my own models in the past, the SUS exclusive Monaco series, which has been a massive hit and really for me has redefined what the top end mango ukuleles can be. But that's not what we're going to look at today. We're going to look at Koa, which is what Kanile'a have built their brand on. A wood that is so gorgeous and so varied that Kanile'a actually have 4 different ways that they grade their Koa. The person who's selecting the sets of wood will, put aside select Koa, normal Koa, and then deluxe Koa, which is usually straighter grain, slightly quirky looking Koa. And then you have premium Koa, which is what we're going to focus on mainly today, and master grade Koa, which is something we're going to look at more in depth today. So we're going to look at the K1, K2, K3, compare them. We're going to look at a KPA-T, KSR-T, the Aldrine Guerrero signature model, we'll talk about that more in depth later, and finally the Platinum. That just about covers it. Hopefully you're still with me. Let's take a look at the K1. Okay, the first ukulele we're going to look at today is a Kanile'a K-1 T Premium. This is an all-solid Hawaiian Koa tenor, so top, back and sides. And you'll notice as we get this uke in certain lights that it has holographic elements to the wood, some curl to the wood. It's just a very, very pretty Koa ukulele. A very conventional looking ukulele. There's nothing about it that's kind of cosmetically upgraded. It's a standard ukulele. You have a UV gloss finish on the body, which is a very fast drying UV cured gloss. So very even, very pristine. You have a satin mahogany neck to give it more of a played in, lived in feel when you play up the neck. An ebony fingerboard and bridge. Kanile'a, one of the few brands that really have stuck with a bridge pin bridge on the ukulele. Normally associated with acoustic guitars, it's there to create a more true contact between the string and the top wood. You have the ebony fingerboard and bridge with mother of pearl dots, so simple white mother of pearl dots. And then you have a white mother of pearl Kanile'a faceplate logo there too. The tuners are Kanile'a branded open back tuners. They look slightly different to the ones of old. I think they've recently gone with a new manufacturer of these, possibly Dejung, who create a lot of tuners for brands we know like Miller and the luthier Pete Howlett in the UK. Really good tuners, nothing wrong with them. And the key thing about a Kanile'a ukulele is that they all have a 38mm nut width, slightly wider nut width, which is what I would say the majority of players are looking for nowadays. So a slightly wider feel, slightly wider string spacing as a result. And yeah, the whole thing just has a chunky experience to it and a tone not really like anything else out there. I'm going to prove that to you now. I'm going to play the K1 and see what you think. Okay, second up today, if you thought that the Kanile'a K1 was a beauty, look at this K2 T. This is absolutely stunning with some sapwood right down the front in the middle, but not symmetrical. I love when they're not symmetrical. And then the back you have a really unique piece of sapwood too, going all the way down. So premium Koa, you see on the sides here more of that kind of holographic curly element to it, which is what Kanile'a are looking for on their top woods. And the K2 is very much the continuation of the K1. It's like the old days Martin did a Style O, a Style 1, and the difference was the cosmetic features. This has front black ABS binding and a small ABS plastic rosette as well, which if you took it away you'd notice, but it's just subtle enough that it's always in view and it just highlights the sound hole in a way. Like even from a distance you can kind of just see that it's there. It looks like a feature in the wood, and that's That's what you want from a tiny rosette, isn't it? The other details are largely the same. You still have an ebony fingerboard and bridge with a bridge pin bridge, a 38mm nut with the standard headstock and the mother of pearl inlay on the faceplate, and then you have those open back standard tuners on the back. Really good tuners once again. One thing we didn't talk about the K1 that makes Kanile'a unique is the bracing. We've talked about it in other videos, but I always take for granted that some of you will have seen them and some of you will have not. The bracing I'll just show you now is almost like a honeycomb scaffolding kind of thing. It creates key points in the top where the bracing touches the top, and that allows the rest of the top to vibrate more violently when you're playing it, which in turn creates more sound. It's a really finely tuned piece of kit, a Kanile'a, and the bracing is something that they've continued to evolve over time. So you can hear early Kanile'as from early 2000s that have a very unique sound to them, slightly stiffer sound, and then the first incarnation of the true bracing is actually being copied now by a few brands. That just has holes drilled in the bracing to make it lighter, and then this final piece of bracing is so fine-tuned and lightweight, it kind of really doesn't add anything at all to the overall weight of the instrument. And Kanile'as just keep getting better. That's the best thing you can say about them. So let's give the K2 T Premium a play and see what you think. Okay, the final ukulele in that 1, 2, 3 series of K ukuleles is this K3 T Premium. This is one of the nicest ones I've ever seen. It's dark, it's curly. I actually hadn't ordered one of these, but when it was being put through manufacturing, I was sent a picture of the wood halfway through, and I just said, please let us have that. And here it is. It's just stunning. It's got that dark Koa, but shades of purple and browns and almost greens. I'll try and do justice with some really nice close-ups of this uke, but rest assured it's one of my favourite K3s, if not the nicest K3 I've ever seen. And what makes a K3 special otherwise, the difference between a K1, 2 and 3? Well, the 1 you remember had no binding, the 2 had front binding and a small rosette. The 3 has a very obvious curly maple rosette just there by the sound hole. And you have front and back tortoiseshell binding, which is a really nice translucent purple colour. It's not traditional kind of brown smoky sunburst tortoiseshell binding. This is a really modern looking, almost kind of wood stained binding, but it is gorgeous. It's a really lovely thing, and the purple of the binding against the natural shades of colour of the wood is a really lovely feature and something that's worth mentioning. Other than that though, the ukulele itself has the same spec. You have the standard headstock with the mother of pearl faceplate and the open back dujang tuners. You have a 38mm nut with an ebony fingerboard and bridge with mother of pearl dots and a pin bridge. You can tell I've done this one 3 times already, so I've got it in my head. The normal spec. You have that lightweight bracing. A Kanile'a tenor weighs absolutely nothing. It's one of the most lightweight, finely tuned machines on the planet. And I'm going to punctuate that now by busking my way through a tune on the K3 T Premium. So I suppose the question to ask now is, where do you go from a K3? Well, from a K3, you've got a few options. You've got the HNS series, the ISL series, which have side-mounted inlays on the top, and they're gorgeous. But some people just want something that's symmetrical and regal-looking and has that kind of royal Hawaiian of old look to it. And for those people, Kanile'a have made the KPA-T. The KPA-T takes the K3 and just does a few slight tweaks. So you have the abalone rosette, so a very thick, big abalone rosette on the sound hole, which just looks absolutely gorgeous. It's got that natural kind of blue and white shiny element to it. So if you put this one out on a stand, it really stands out amongst the pack, even against the Kanile'as today that are, 2-3 times the price. It's just a gorgeous looking ukulele. I'm trying to light it as well as I can for you, but you have very similar looking. Oh, look at that, just as you see the light. It's almost got that 100-year-old whiskey barrel look to the Koa, this one. Really gorgeous. I'll put links to all of these ukuleles in the description, those of you that are new to the channel. And the other features, you have the front tortoiseshell binding. So you've got the purple binding on the front, but it's unbound on the back. Probably a slight cost-saving measure because you could have too much bling with that big abalone rosette. You also have abalone dots, which are on the side of the fingerboard in addition to the front of the fingerboard. Going up to the Kanile'a logo itself, inlaid in abalone. And then you have gold tuners, just to tie it all up at the end there. Yeah, the KPA-T, another gorgeous ukulele, 38mm nut, ebony fingerboard and bridge, pin bridge. Yeah, KPA-T is one that 2 or 3 times over the years I have convinced myself that that's what I'm going to save up for, and I've started saving for it, and then something else has come along and I've compromised on something else. But if you're after a ukulele, a keeper at the high end, the KPA-T is a worthy model of anyone's time and money. So let's give it a play and see what you think. So if you've got to this point and you're thinking, yes, I love these ukuleles, but what about if I want a slotted headstock? Well, Kanile'a do make slotted headstock models. Everything we're going to look at from now on has a slotted headstock. They do increase the price quite a bit though, because Kanile'a don't just make slotted headstocks, they do something a bit unique with them. They make them super thin. They make them wafer thin, they put big angles on them, and they make them something more than a cosmetic feature. They really tighten up the tension of the ukulele. And if you're wondering what this cool thing is, this is the KSR-T. This particular KSR-T is a deluxe KSR-T, so it's a slight downgrade in wood, but I really have no clue why. Because if you look at this ukulele in certain lights, it's like looking at an old scroll from the land before time. It's a really stunning piece of Koa. I think it's just that it doesn't have any particular straight grain or that kind of holographic honeycomb look to it, but the wood itself looks stunning. You have the KSR-T has no cosmetic appointments on the front. It's a straight ukulele. It's like a style 1 like the K1, but what you do get in addition to this slimline slotted headstock, which is Kanile'a's traditional slotted headstock with this tight point at the end, is Goto stealth tuners, which are in themselves a really expensive component because they are just the tiniest tuner. They take up about 1/3 of the footprint of a normal tuner, but they're just as accurate. You have that 38mm nut width once again with a really nice volute on the back of the neck, so the point where you touch is really clean and comfortable. And then you have, in addition, an armrest, which I'm trying to find here now. A Koa armrest, which is really subtly put into the body, so it doesn't tie away cosmetically from the uke itself. But there's a smooth edge here, so when you're leaning in over the instrument for a long period of time, you are comfortable, which has always been a complaint about ukuleles because of the way we tend to sit with them when we play. And the KSR-T is lovely. You never see anybody say, oh, I don't like the KSR-T. Everyone likes the KSR-T, and it fills a really important role for those wanting a bit more tension, a bit more of a twang to their ukulele. So let's give the KSR-T a play and see what you think. Okay, the penultimate ukulele we're going to look at today is the Kanile'a Aldrine Guerrero tenor. Aldrine Guerrero has had a working relationship with Kanile'a, I think, for 10 years now. A great singer-songwriter, great teacher, great ukulele ambassador for the world. Owner of Ukulele Underground, a website that many of you long-term ukulele players will be familiar with a great forum, but also fantastic tutorials, and just a wide community within the ukulele was built in large part because of the work Ukulele Underground did. So Aldrine Guerrero, a very deserving recipient of his own signature model. He's been a long-time friend of Kanile'a's as well, and way back in 2014, Aldrine actually visited the shop and played one of these ukuleles with Joe Souza, the owner, master luthier at Kanile'a, in a duo. So when I say that they're a tight-knit, there's a tight-knit friendship there, I really mean it. You know, they quite literally travel the world together. And this is only the third Aldrine we've had, and the first one we've had for 6 years. And to look at it, you can see, yes, it's based slightly on the K3. And when I posted a picture of this yesterday, the first two questions I was asked was, well, what's the difference between this and the K3? So I'm happy just to talk over the spec and compare as we go. So yes, you have that really gorgeous, this is master grade Koa. This is the top shelf Koa. Look at that. The nicest Koa that Kanile'a have at their disposal. They only make this ukulele when they have this wood at their disposal. With the curly maple rosette. So the same big rosette as the K3. Instead of the tortoiseshell binding, you have a black ebony binding on the front and back, with the ebony fingerboard and bridge. You'll notice that first of all there's the Aldrine Guerrero inlay in sand just by the 12th fret. You have a traditional, like an actual traditional slotted headstock. Kanile'a don't make this on any other ukulele anymore, so on the surface it appears like the stealth headstock that we use, the traditional headstock Kanile'a use on the KSR-T, but it's a chunkier, more old-fashioned classical guitar style headstock. And these bad boys, these big tuners here, are Gilbert tuners, hand finished, handmade in California, a really high-end option. I've never seen these on any other ukulele. I don't believe that they are readily available, and they are heavy duty to look at, but don't really weigh anything. I think they probably weigh the same as the standard Kanile'a tuner. And that's the big miracle about this ukulele, is it has that big slotted headstock, but it doesn't really add any weight or any kind of lack of balance to this instrument. You know, I'm holding it here now, and many other ukuleles would just go down like this, but it still remains lightweight, with a traditional kind of nice pronounced dip there, volute in the neck, so it's comfortable. I've seen Aldrine play one of these ukuleles for 2 hours. I've seen him perform several times over the years, and he has a snap to his playing and a real flamenco style, and that headstock and these tuners are definitely a key ingredient to how he gets his sound. I don't claim to be an expert on him as a player, but I have met the chap a few times. Really nice guy. We had a very nice conversation about wrestling, if you must know, something we both like. And this ukulele is worthy of the man. You have the sand inlays on the headstock with Aldrine Guerrero signature just in the middle of the two slots there, inlaid in sand as well. So there are some differences. The K3 for a start has a traditional headstock. It has standard tuners. That alone, the difference between those two components is quite big. You have tortoiseshell binding, whereas you have ebony real wood bindings on this model, and you have the custom inlays. But the final thing is this ukulele shipped with Ukuleles on, but we felt like it was a good opportunity to fit Aldrine's own Ukule strings. So when we've listed this ukulele, we've fitted it with Aldrine's 145U Ukule high G set because they sound fantastic. Nylon is a really lovely string for a Kanile'a ukulele, and it just felt right to put the strings that the man himself endorses on this instrument and really fanboy out about how nice this uke sounds. So I'm going to give the Aldrine Guerrero tenor a play and see what you think. Okay, the final ukulele we're going to look at today is the last of the Kanile'a Platinum 2021 models. Kanile'a are about to launch the 2022 model at the time of filming. We don't know anything about that yet, but what we do know is that this 2021 model has been the most popular Platinum model that Kanile'a have ever made. It was designed by Kahiao Souza, the youngest of the Souza sons, with his dad Joe. They spent a year developing it. In fact, I believe a bit more than a year developing the bracing pattern. And I mean, you just have to look at it and know that this instrument is a master-built piece of art. It's practical art, my favorite kind of art, the kind of art that you can eat or play. It's just stunning to look at. You have master grade Koa, really curly, holographic looking Koa all around this uke. And every detail has been pimped out, I like to say. So you have these Koa leaf sound holes, 3 sound holes on the top that are bound in maple. And then you have matching Koa leaves on the side, so a side sound port bound in maple. You have front and back curly maple binding. Maple and Koa, match made in heaven. We've already seen that on a few other ukes today, but this one is just divine. You have the seam on the back bound in Koa. You have the ebony fingerboard, and the entire length of the fingerboard, the length of the neck is also bound in a really nice figured maple too. You have Kanile'a's Cobra headstock, which is another thin line headstock, but with a more conventional Kanile'a twist to the top, you know, the kind of cuts into it. It's the Cobra shape, I should say, with the Goto stealth tuners. As with all Kanile'as, it's a 38mm nut width. You have Koa inlays all the way down the fingerboard, which are hard to show up in this light, but I'll do some focuses to do it justice. A maple cap on the back of the heel, and then we'll talk about the biggest feature of this instrument, which is the relief in the body. This ukulele has been contoured so that the instrument is braced completely differently here, and everything is pointing the sound out of these sound holes, but the body itself is reduced at the point where the player's arm will go over it to best put their hand in the position to play over the sweet spot. The other feature, the only thing that's been divisive about this ukulele that I personally love, is that when you look at the back, when you look in certain lights, wait for it, you'll see it. If you don't see it already, there is a hatch that is removable. There it is in the light. There's a hatch that's removable if you want to fit a pickup, which we have done several times this year. So thank you, Kanile'a, for making it possible to fit a pickup to this absolutely drop dead gorgeous, one of a kind ukulele. Kanile'a made about 45 or 50 of these. This one is number 32. It's the last one we are going to receive. And it's the last one we've received before Kanile'a stopped production, which I believe they did the middle of last week. So let's give this Platinum, number 32, a play and see what you think. This ukulele is a piano. It's not a ukulele. It's so balanced, it's so even. I almost don't want to play it because I'm not going to do it justice. I want this ukulele to tell me bedtime stories and tuck me into bed. It's that lovely. Hi there folks, that about wraps it up. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please do give the video a like and leave a comment. Tell us what your favourite one was and why. If you could design your dream Kanile'a, what would it be? Let me know in the comment section. I'd really appreciate if you subscribe and come back more frequently, just so we can show you more fine ukuleles. If you have any questions, our number is 01202 430 820, or you can email me at alex@ukulele.co.uk. I also have my own channel called Ukes of Alex. I'd be very grateful if you check that out in your own time. And I will be back very, very soon.